I can't believe that you came into my life. You made me feel again. Now it's my turn. You say you've always been a little bit shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you? Don't be afraid. Just let go of your fears, 'cause you know you can do it, baby. Then I stand away. Now you know how it feels. Now you know you can do it, baby. And let the music begin. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you? I can't believe that you came into my life. You made me feel again. Now it's my turn. You say you've always been a little bit shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin. Just spin for me. Won't you?
everybody, this is Donna from Donna T Crafting, and I am excited to be here sharing a project I am creating for Brutus Monroe. So tonight I'm going to do a little bit of a circus card, and the products I'm going to be using just a little bit of paper from the Driftwood paper collection and from Circus Life paper collection. I'm using a piece out of that, so we'll be using those two. We'll come back to those in a little bit. I'm going to use the Step Right Up stamp set with these just adorable animals that are on here. So I have the stamp and die set. We're going to be doing a little bit of stamping. And I'm going to start by doing a background. I'm going to do a bouquet background. I'm going to use the Random Dots mixed media stencil. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I picked out some colors to use for my background. I have Shooting Star, Guppy, Roar, and Bee Sting from Simon Hurley. Not sure I'm going to use all of these colors, but I got them out just in case. So I'm going to start with Bee Sting, and I'm just going to put some randomly on my card. I'm going to concentrate some of my darker colors on the sides, and then I will be adding some of the lighter colors towards the middle. I may throw in a little bit of dark on the middle, but I want to make some of this lighter kind of coming out from the darker coming out from behind the curtains. So we'll start with just a little bee sting. I'm not going to worry about perfection on this blending because I am going to come back with some white pigment ink and add that on top. So that was bee sting. Next, I'm going to use some Guppy, and I'm going to use Guppy just because it's lighter. I'm going to use it first, and then if I decide I want to use Roar, I'll use that. I'm just going to be using the same brush, so I'm just going to use this first, throw a little bit of this in a couple of places, kind of blend it in with my first color up here. Oh, I like that color. It's turning out nice. And then, after I get some of that on my pad, I'm going to come back with some Roar. It's a little bit darker orange. Add that in a few places. I could add it in, smaller pieces, more areas. But when you add the white, I think this will be just fine. It's just, add just a couple more swipes of that. Take it into this a little further to make that blend look a little better. And then I'm going to come back with my yellow blending brush and use some Shooting Star just to kind of put down it where I don't have any color yet. My thought is I want this to look like lots of lights of a background. So, you're looking at our circus animals, which is what I'm going to do as my main images. And this is kind of the lighted background behind it. So that's why I picked these colors and this effect. So that's the colors I'm going to use. I think I'm going to stop right there. So I am going to just wipe up this ink that's on my glass mat, and then we'll come back. I'm going to get out my stick and stamp mat. I'll put my piece of cardstock that I just got done with on here. Of course, I let it stick just a little too early. Let me line that up a little bit better. All right, let's try that again. All right, perfect. And then I'm going to bring in my stencil. Again, this is a mixed media stencil called Random Dots. I have a kind of a pouncer tool that I use specifically with my white pigment ink. And I'm going to use the Alabaster White Pigment Ink from Brutus Monroe. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down my stencil and I am just going to start pouncing over these dots. Some will be darker, some will be lighter, and that's okay. I wanted it that way because I do want this to look like it has a variety of levels and areas that you're seeing this light from. You wouldn't all get it at the same intensity. So some places will be really, really dark white. Some will be really, really light white. So I'm going to just do different amounts all through this. And then when I'm done, I'm going to pull that up. That looks nice, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of angle this a little bit and come back with a second round. And I angled it so that it'd get a little different look on the pattern by angling it a little bit. It also hit quite a few of the empty spots by doing it this way. I was able to do that. And I'm being a little careful over here on the side so I don't go too far off the edge. And I'm going to add just a couple of spots over here on this far edge. And I'm really liking how that's looking. I just want to do one little bit through here in the middle. I feel like I need just a little bit more here in the middle. And please excuse my dog. She's upset that I closed the door on her. So there we go. That's kind of what I was looking for. I wanted it to look very like we've got different levels of light. And if you can look real closely, you can see you've got different shades of that white there. All right, I'm just going to set this aside for a little bit, let it dry a bit. I'm going to set aside my ink, and I am going to go to stamping my images. So for the stamp set, again, that I'm using, it's called Step Right Up. I'm going to use the line. I'm going to go ahead and stamp and cut out the lion, the tiger, the elephant, the little monkey on the little bike, and I'm going to do the sentiment, Step Right Up to the greatest show on earth. And I went ahead and I laid these out in my MISTI, and I went ahead and put my piece of paper in. Now my only problem is, what did I do with my stamp pad that I'm supposed to be using for this? One moment, let me find the stamp pad for this. It's underneath my panel I set aside. So I'm using some Raven Detail ink. This is the first time I am using these stamps. I did run my finger across them, but I believe it's going to take a couple of times stamping these before I get it to where I'm going to like it. So just because of the newness within them. So let me go ahead and get this started. These images are very detailed. I love how they were designed. I think they're just adorable. I love the little monkey riding the bike. I'm hoping I can fit that in. When I was kind of planning out this card, I thought I might have probably one too many images, but I'd rather go ahead and stamp them and have them available so that when we lay it out completely, if we decide we can't use one, I'll just set it aside for next time I do something with this set. I think that is looking really good. All right, we're going to go with that. So we have our images stamped. I'm going to set this aside out of the way and not in my white pigment ink, which I almost did. And then before I cut them, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of shading to these images. I'm going to do just some coloring. I like to use some alcohol markers for my coloring, so I'm going to do a little bit of gray on the elephant. Wonder if you guys like to use alcohol markers. I've been using them quite a bit lately. I like to use alcohol markers for coloring, and then I also like to use alcohol ink to make backgrounds and different images. I've been using some alcohol ink and then die cutting out flowers. So it's become one of my favorite techniques and tools to use in my craft room, is using alcohol ink on different things. Like I said, especially the markers, and then the ink for my flowers. I'm using Copics. I use C6 to start with, and I'm coming back with a C4. If you don't have Copics, you don't have to use Copics. Any alcohol markers will do. This is a cool gray. I tend to lean to using more of the cool grays most of the time, although every once in a while I'll pull out one of the other grays, but cool grays tend to be my favorite when I'm using my alcohol markers and need a gray color. And that probably comes from the fact that blue is one of my favorite colors, so this has more blue in it, and it makes me very happy. I'm going to grab my RV11 just to add in some pink tones before I come back with some gray. I'm going to add a little pink down here in his belly area, a little bit along his trunk, even though it's under, I'm doing it over this gray, so you're not going to see it much. And then I'm going to come back with this gray on top of it a little bit here in his ear. And I'm going to fill this in. This one is C2, so it's even a lighter gray. I'm doing on the middle here just to blend in the last bit of this elephant. And I'll do his toenails in this too, real quick. All right, I'm gonna get some really bright colors. Let's go with a BV13, and let's go with a bright pink. How about RV06? And let's do, I don't know what you call this thing that they put on the back of the elephant for the rider to ride on. But we're going to give it a little bit of color, some bright color here. Like I said, I'm using kind of that bright pink and kind of a blue purple on that. All right, that's my quick coloring. That's not my slow, take me all day coloring. That's my quick coloring. All right, let me find some colors here to use real quick for our lion. I'm gonna pull out some E colors. I got an E37 for the darkest area. I'm gonna put some of that in his mane and just under his mane, right behind his legs. Kind of the darkest areas you would think for him. And then I've got an E35 that I'll use next. And I'm going to come in. It's not much lighter, but a little bit. Fill in some areas. Do kind of his back. Some areas in his legs. A little bit across his body. And then I'm going to come in with an E33. And I'll fill in his tail, which is very thin on this, and then fill in the rest of his body. And after I get his body blended in, I'll do a little bit more in his mane with this color and his face. All right. Again, I'm just blending in some with that darker color and using this lighter color. And then I think I want the ball he's on to be a bright yellow. You hear my dog again. She's not happy that I closed her out of my craft room today. But I also knew she wasn't going to like having me ignore her while I was doing this video. So she'll just have to deal with it for right now. All right. And let's see, let's do a little bit of monkey here. I just want to do a little bit of browns on the monkey. Oh, she's got a dress on. We're going to put the pinks on the monkey because she has a dress. Oops, grab the wrong side here. Let's give her a little bit of pink in here. And she's got this cute little dress on. Let's just give her a little pink dress. And then I'll add a little brown for the rest of her body. You guys have animals that decide to bark while you're trying to craft because they want attention and you're ignoring them? That's what mine's doing. All right, and then the last thing I have to do is I want to do the tiger. I'm going to give his little stand some red color. It's already got a lot of black, so I'm going to give it some red. And then for the rest of the tiger, let's see, let's use, I think this is the color I want to use. I'm going to just test it here. Oh, I don't like that color. Let me try a different color. None of that's making me happy. Let's find something else. Let's go back with E13. Something darker. How about E35? That might be. Yeah, let's do that. And then I'm going to get some orange and try to mix that. Let me try this color. This is a YR24. I'm going to try to mix that in just a little bit with that one. And then I'm going to come back with just a lighter color here at the bottom. All right, and there we go. We've got ourselves some animals. I'm going to grab my little die cut machine and we're going to die cut these out, and then we'll start putting our card together. I use a little small die cut machine a lot of the times just because I like the control of having it on my desk. Just a little machine. I can do a couple of things at a time. I don't have to drag out or get to my big machine. So we're just going to use the little die cut machine today. Let me find my other little die cuts. I already cut my, it's the first time I'm using this die set, well, the stamp and die set, so I cut my dies apart earlier so that they would be ready. Now let me get the lay this down and get the sentiment in place. think I have, let me try it the other way. I think, yeah, that was the problem. I had it on backwards. If it doesn't look quite right, flip it over. It's probably because you have it backwards. All right, let me double check everything looks like it's lined up. It looks like my little monkey needs another piece of tape. And so does my lion. So give me one moment to get those lined up. Okay. Line everything up and cut these, and then we'll just have the other two animals to do. All right. Let's see how those turned out. Oh, look at those. So excited. Put a lot of tape on, obviously, and it's going to take me a minute to take this off. Look at this lion. I love it. Look at that. It cuts out the middle and everything. That is so awesome. Okay, my monkey decided to cut the tape on the front side. There's my little monkey. Hopefully you can see that. And then my little sentiment here. Let me pull that off. All right, and that turned out nice too. So let me clean this off just a bit and get the last two. Okay, my elephant. I love this elephant too. Like I said, this is the first time I'm using this stamp and die set, and I think I will be using it quite a bit because I really like it. So I can see lots of possibilities, especially I'm thinking kids' birthday parties and cards. I think that would be so fun to use these. Not what I'm doing today, but I think you could come up with some really cute birthday card. You could do some invitations, birthday invitations for a kid's birthday party with these. That would be a lot of fun. Be really cute if you had a birthday party and you had to have a card for the party. You could do a really cute card for the party or a tag with these cute little animals. That would be a lot of fun. I think I could come up with 100 ideas. Probably should not though. All right, so now we're going to come over to my paper. For the circus life, these are the papers that are in this set. I picked out this paper right here, and my plan is to make this the side curtains for my circus scene. So like that, I cut out one side, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I'm going to flip it over to the other side. I already cut my piece of paper down to 4 1/4, making sure the stripes were going the way I wanted them to go. I cut the first one just to kind of give me a template. Plus I was a little nervous cutting that live and getting it the way I wanted it. So to make these look somewhat similar, I just laid this over the top, and now I've cut it. Now these two should look, now watch me not have this right. Yeah, yeah, it worked. All right, so now I have my 2 side curtains. That looks really cool, I think. That's kind of what I was looking for that. And then, like I said, I'm using the driftwood paper, and I had some scraps already from this, and I just needed just a tiny bit on the bottom to kind of give them a stage. So I don't even have to have this cut anywhere, as long as it's cut short enough, which I don't think I need to cut it a little bit more. It'll be underneath these curtains, so it doesn't have to be the exact size. So now I've got my curtains, I've got my stage, I've got my animals to go, and I have my background here. I'm going to bend my stick and stamp mat, pull off my background. It looks great. So I'm going to move everything out of the way so we don't have that in our way. So I'm going to start with some liquid glue on my floor, which was that driftwood paper. And I think I'm going to make my floor this right here. So I'm just going to line it up along the bottom edge. Again, it doesn't matter that it goes all the way to the sides because I'm going to have that curtain covering it up on the sides. It just needs to be lined up at the bottom. It's really all that I need with that. Curl my paper back a little bit. All right, so there's my floor. I'm debating, I think I might want to pop my curtains up. So for right now, just to kind of lay out what we're doing, there's my curtains. I'm thinking I want the elephant to kind of be walking out. So I may cut some of my elephant off. That's okay. I was going to have my tiger sitting here. May have my lion just coming out. And my little monkey riding along. So there's my set of animals. And then we can put our sentiment up here at the top. So that's the plan. Let's go ahead and get it started gluing it down. I'm going to start with this lion on this side. And I'm going to get him glued down. I want to glue him down. I still think I'm going to pop up the curtains. But I think for the lion, we're going to put some of him behind the curtain. Like I said, for the elephant, we're definitely putting some of him behind the curtain. I'm not even going to glue all of him because I know some of him is we're going to have to chop off here. So I'm trying to make sure I put him high enough up though that he looks like he's walking on the floor, not like down at the very bottom. All right, I'll trim him down in just a minute. Let's put our little monkey on here. Glue her down, and I'm going to put her down a little further, like she's further on the stage. And then our last piece is this tiger. And for our tiger, I'm just going to put him down right there, further down on the stage as well. So there's my animals. I'll come back with my sentiment at last. All right, trim off my little elephant so he's not sticking outside the curtain. And then I need to get some, let me grab some foam tape so I can find where my foam tape went. There it is, found it. Okay, whoops. All right, and I'm using the Brutus Monroe, the little foam pieces. I know they've had a hard time keeping these in stock, so I would just keep checking back if they're not in stock when you look. There are also the larger pieces. These have backings on both sides. So I'm using those, and let me just take the backs off of all of these. I should get my pick tool. I cut my fingernails today really short, and I should have waited until after I did this video. Would have been a lot easier getting these little foam pieces off. I'm used to being able to just use my fingernails to get them off, but since I cut my fingernails, that didn't work. So I'm going to use my Gina K pokey tool, whatever you want to call it. The one that I use to pick up my jewels with when I'm adding rhinestones or stuff. And the other end has the little pokey end. So I use that to get those backing off. All right, so there's that side. Let me get some foam tape on the other side. Then we'll have the curtain done. We'll add our sentiment, a little bit of sparkle, and we'll have a completed card. All right, let's get these off. This paper pad, the circus paper pad, has some really neat and different designs in it. I think there's a lot of possibilities. I did go with just one of the simpler designs, but when I was looking through it, I'm like, goodness, there's all kinds of possibilities. I love the one that says circus on it. I can see cutting that circus part, just the words, out several times and using that for pieces of cards. There's just some awesome different pieces and parts to that paper pad. Again, I just used some of the simplistic paper in this one. And where is my, there it is. So there's my, I'm thinking, one thing I think I want to add, find my paper. I think I want to add just a little, I want to add a little bit to the top. So I think what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to freehand this. I may regret that, but we'll see. You never know until you try it, so I'm going to try freehanding this. I'm just going to cut out some almost like bunting across the top. I'm just making some kind of like half circles across the top here. All right, let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that's what it needs. Yeah, I gotta line this up though, because I want it to, oh, that's not gonna line up on that side. Let me think about this, how I want to do this. Maybe I don't want it to line up, so that you can see the bunting. Let me get a couple pieces of foam tape. Okay, I need to cut this down. All right, I think I'm gonna go with the not lined up plan. Grab my tool again and add this in. There we go. And for the rest of it, I'm going to use some glue because I don't want to add more depth across this top, but I needed to build it up in the middle here because I didn't want it to sag either. So let me just put this down. We'll let that set for just a moment before we trim off the edges. I want to make sure it gets lined up first. So give me a second to hold it up and look at it, make sure it's lined up across the top as much as possible. Okay, we're going to let that sit for just a minute while we decide where we want to put our sentiment. We could put it here, we could put it in the center. A lot of different ways we could do this. I think we're just going to put it in the center. And you can tell again, I keep thinking I have nails. Yeah, that's the problem when you're used to crafting with fingernails, and I've always had pretty good fingernails, and you cut them off. Yeah, it doesn't work real well. All right, there's that. I know I need to trim the edges yet, but I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna get out some stones, some crystals, and I think I want to go with my red shift crystals. I think that's them. I'm going to use those first. I thought here, oops, got a bubble in my glue, is I'm wanting to put a few, maybe like 4 here, to make it kind of look like this curtain has something holding it back, you know, like the pull that holds the curtain back. I was gonna cut something out for that, but then I thought, why don't I just put a few little crystals on here, and that could look like that. So let's do the other side as well. There we go, there's another set. We'll put those on. I'm using Barely Arts glue. It will dry clear, so I know I put a lot of glue in a couple places. It'll dry clear, it'll be fine. I'm not going to worry about it because I tend to put a little too much glue. I'm an over gluer, I guess you would call me. Now I want one more piece of crystal and then we'll do our little trim and we'll be done. Let me grab, these are the topaz crystals and I just need one. So I'm going to put this little ball here on top of the elephant. I want to do with a topaz crystal. Oh, and look what I did. I put it in upside down. Okay, that was not smart. I thought I had grabbed it the right way. And obviously I grabbed it the wrong way. Okay. All right. Let's do our last trim and take a look at what we got. So I'm going to trim off these sides. Just a little bit here. A little bit on that side. And there you have the final card. Our circus animals on stage with their beautiful lighted background. I love it. Well, thanks for joining and thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and hope to see you in future videos. Take care.